Hey everybody, Alanna Kaivalya here. How are you? It is such a wonderful day today. Welcome to Tuesday. I am so excited to be here live and really thrilled to have this opportunity to share some insights with you today on reclaiming your ability to receive. So let me just make sure that everything is working. Give me just a second here. Okay. All right. I think that we are all set. Hopefully you can see me. I actually expected to be going live from a different camera, so you guys are a little bit further down here. Let me see if I can lift you up a little bit, actually. Great. That gives me a little bit of height. Okay. Welcome. My name is Alanna Kaivalya. For those of you who haven't been on a live broadcast with me yet or haven't explored my work at thesatisfiedwoman.com or listened to my podcast, I just want to let you know that it's a great honor and a pleasure to be here with you today to offer some insights to you as a woman in order to reclaim your capacity to receive. So, receiving is a challenge for women because it often feels unsafe. I wrote a book called The Way of the Satisfied Woman, and this is one of the elements that it takes to actually be satisfied as a woman is your ability to receive. So let's start by taking a deep breath together in order to set our intention for this work today. Because this actually isn't another productivity chat. This is an energetic reset. I do things a little differently around here at the Satisfied Woman, which those of you who have participated in with me in my membership or any of my coaching programs, you know that to be true. So go ahead and, unless you're driving, go ahead and close your eyes. Tap into the breath. Feel the breath move into the body. And you may notice that there's a place in the body that's asking for a little attention as you slow down, breathe. And if you feel a spot in the body that could use a little extra love, go ahead and place your hands there. Maybe it's your heart, maybe it's your belly. One of the key elements of being a satisfied woman is being an embodied woman. The feminine is deeply embodied, and until we reconnect with our bodies, our sensations, our inner wisdom, we don't reconnect with ourselves. So just give a moment of gratitude to the body for offering you some sensation today in the broadcast, this experience. Give gratitude to the breath. And you'll notice that the breath itself is a means of receiving. The breath itself is reception. You receive the life force energy as you inhale. That is a direct participation with your feminine energy. Enjoy the receiving. Now take a deep breath and reconnect with the sensations of the body, the reception of the breath. Feel your feet in the ground, your seat on the chair. you're ready, open your eyes and come back into this space here. All right. I always find that centering simple exercise not only helps us to orient to one another in this space, but to orient to yourself. And really, all of the work that I do with the Satisfied Woman is helping you come back to yourself and reclaim your femininity. Our embodied femininity, our sense of womanhood has been lost, diminished, dismissed, questioned, repressed, maybe not even really held by us at any time in our lives. And so the work that I do helps us to come home to ourselves, helps us to reclaim our femininity so that we can become as um, so that we can manifest the best of ourselves in this life. And I don't mean that in, a frou-frou or ethereal way. I mean that in a real way. 80% of women today report feeling burnt out. They're depleted of energy. They feel drained. They feel taken advantage of. They feel as if they don't have enough time for themselves, let alone time for the things that they deeply desire to do in this life. A lot of women give themselves up in relationship and family and career and have forgotten even who they are. And I know this because I get to work. I have the great privilege of working with women every day, either one-on-one through coaching or through my rooted membership. And this is what I hear. This is why I wrote the book, The Way of the Satisfied Woman. This is why I do this work. Because we need you. We need your voice. We need your energy. We need your sovereignty. We need your satisfaction. We need your presence in this life so that you, as you start to take up more space, as you start to reach your femininity, as you start to root down into your womanhood, can not only live a life of satisfaction and the best life you could imagine, but so that you can give permission to other women to do the same. So today's live broadcast is a lead in to the work that we'll be doing over the course of 4 weeks, starting on October 29th in my live guided feminine power course. So over 4 weeks, we're going to have live broadcasts every Wednesday for 90 minutes where I'll give a lecture. We'll do some hot seat coaching. We'll talk about exactly what's going on with you. We'll go through the work of my book, which is actually propping up my computer right now. So let me grab it and I can show you. Here it is. We're going to go through the work of my book, and we're also going to go through a course that I created based off of the book, but in a live format where I get to take you through and actually help you embody the work that's in there. Because this isn't theory, this is practice. And it's practice like you've never done before. It's not something to keep on your plate. It's a practice of taking things off your plate that were never yours to begin with. And one of these things that I want to help you take off your plate and reclaim your power with today is this idea of receptivity, actually taking in and taking on what's most meaningful and important to you. Because most of us weren't raised to do that. Most of us were raised to deflect. Most of us were raised with the idea that receiving anything means that we're selfish, that we're not giving enough energy to others. And if we seem selfish or not over giving, we feel like we might be discarded or left behind or disconnected from. Those are real fears. And I just want to validate those fears and affirm that this is part of our cultural experience. And if you felt that way, you're not wrong, and you're certainly not alone. So most of us were raised to earn everything, including love, rest, and appreciation. We had to earn it. We had to work for it. And more accurately, we had to overwork for it. And if this is you, if you ever felt this or experienced this, raise your hand, put it in the chat, let me know. One of the greatest things that I have the privilege of doing is being in conversation with women, unpacking these stories and experiences so that we can start to normalize what we're all going through and so that we can start to free ourselves from narratives that weren't ours and weren't built for us, assumptions and belief systems that do us a disservice. We're done with those. But in order to be done with those and move into something new, you and I got to talk about it. So the first thing we're talking about is this idea of receiving. because you don't need to earn anything. You, as a sovereign feminine woman, you actually deserve to receive everything that is yours in this lifetime. The other thing that women tend to be heaped with is what I call feminine guilt. Now, there is healthy guilt as a human being. Humans feel guilty when you've actually acted in a way that is out of alignment with your character, your morals, or your values. And that means you've screwed up. If you've screwed up, if you have actually screwed up, if you've committed a behavior that isn't in alignment with your morals or values, you'll feel guilty about it. And that's good. That is an internal accountability check that your behavior needs to be corrected. Fine, no problem. Feminine guilt isn't guilt because we've done anything wrong. It's guilt because we're worried about disappointing someone else. We're worried about how our needs, our actions, our rest, our saying no might disappoint someone else or inconvenience someone else. Without even committing the act, without even saying no, without even resting, without even voicing our needs, we already feel this sense of guilt, which stops us from getting the rest we need or our needs met. That is a powerful force for diminishing the feminine. And feminine guilt is something that I give you all permission to lay down and be done with. In fact, recently, I challenged my audience to a 7-day moratorium on apologies. Again, if you've actually screwed up, you are welcome to say you are sorry, but too often women end up apologizing for themselves, apologizing for taking up space, apologizing for needing a night off, apologizing for not overgiving, overdoing, overextending themselves. So if you didn't hear that challenge, and if you weren't here with me a few weeks ago, then maybe you can take that challenge on now and go for 7 straight days with no apology. Because that kind of constant giving, constant overdoing, constant depleting ourselves, that is actually what burns us out. And it teaches our nervous system that safety is more about control than surrender. That's a dysregulated state. Control is not safe. Control is just control. And we often think of control as a really negative thing or like we're harming someone else. But for a lot of women, control is the only way they know how to feel like they have any agency in their lives. And they control little things: when the laundry is done, who does the cooking, when everybody leaves in the morning, when bedtime is at night, if things are clean around the house, how things are tended to. And those little elements of control don't feel malicious, but they start to erode the level of connection that we have with others because we don't trust them to take care of us. And we, in turn, don't receive. And a feminine woman who is not receiving is not fully in her femininity, and she's going to feel depleted. She's going to feel burnt out. She's going to feel taxed. She's going to feel put upon it. She's going to feel undervalued. Now, that's coupled with the very complicated notion that oftentimes when women receive, it comes with an element of danger. So I gave the example recently in one of my podcasts that, and I have felt this too, and maybe you have as well, you'll let me know in the chat, but even when we go out in a social setting, if someone offers to buy us a drink or a meal or a snack or a coffee, we often feel like there's this implicit understanding that we then owe them. We don't. We don't owe anybody anything ever. We often feel that if we receive a compliment, that we immediately have to give it back or deflect. Think about how instinctive that's become for you in such a way that you might protect yourself by simply not going out, by not receiving anything from anyone, by putting up walls and boundaries to the kinds of connections, support, and generosity that you actually deserve. Because it is out there. It is out there. So I want to start to counterbalance this idea that receiving is dangerous, while acknowledging that the world can be a dangerous place for women, okay? I hope that you are not in a dangerous place, and I always want you to protect yourself in that way for sure. But just notice where that the pendulum has perhaps swung too far. And it's not simply about keeping yourself out of danger, but it's become almost about putting up walls against connection with others, because that's actually detrimental to you. It's detrimental to your well-being, it's detrimental to your mental health, and it's certainly detrimental to your energy levels. And for the feminine woman, our energy levels are paramount. Setting energetic boundaries and having energetic clarity is one of the most fundamental core things we can do on our road to becoming the satisfied woman. So remember, this is something we're going to dive deeply into, and I'm going to teach you on this 4-week journey starting October 29th. And I hope you'll join me. I'm actually going to drop the link real quick into the chat for that landing page so you can go check it out even while I'm talking if you want to check out the journey starting on October 29th. So femininity is not passive, right? A lot of us have grown up with this notion that femininity doesn't speak out, it doesn't speak up, it's soft, it's submissive to the point of losing ourselves, not having opinions, not having needs. I don't know if you've ever met any women, but we definitely have opinions. We definitely have needs. And we're definitely chatty. We like to speak up and out. And in fact, this is a little bit of an aside, but for those of you that know me, I love true crime. I watch a lot of true crime. And I've come around to this thesis that women really would make the best detectives. Okay, we would make the best detectives because women inherently won't stop until we find the truth. And we will do whatever it takes to find the truth. We will dig deeper. We will be ceaseless. We will be inquisitory about whatever it is we are trying to get to the bottom of. Women are truth seekers. So we absolutely have opinions. We absolutely have needs. We absolutely have desires. We absolutely use our wits, our instincts in order to navigate through life. So we are not passive beings. We are receptive beings. We are taking in information. We are receiving things from the world around us. And that's all meant, really, to nourish us. We are meant to be nourished. And when we are in our receptive power, we are truly magnetic. This is how women make money, okay? The feminine makes money differently than the masculine. The masculine charges forward. The masculine makes plans. The masculine seeks the bottom line. The masculine pushes the profit margins. The masculine sets goals and KPIs and SOPs and all of that horribly exciting stuff that we think about in terms of toxic business models and success. The feminine can still make money, tons of money, right? The limits on money are not uh, masculine or feminine. Money is available to all, and it's simply energy. And the way that women make money best, feminine women make money best, is through this reception. Magnetize it. We draw it in. We pull in the nourishment and the receptivity that is inherently ours in order to be fed and built up, filled with the things that we love: finances, resources, pleasure, joy, excitement, experiences, creativity, connection, community. We're magnetic. Now, you've seen this, you've known this, you've watched this happen, and pardon me for the kind of cliched metaphor here, but I think about this in terms of think about a holiday party, any holiday party. And all the people are gathered in the room and everyone's in their fancy dress. And suddenly, a self-possessed, sovereign, satisfied woman walks into the room and all eyes go to her. That's feminine magnetism. That's receptivity. She is receiving the gaze, the admiration, the adoration, the joy, simply because she is exactly who she is and she is contained. So now I want to move to this idea of our body as a vessel, our physical body as a vessel. Now, think of your actual physical anatomy, ladies, right? You've got your vagina, you've got your womb. That is quite literally a vessel. It quite literally receives. This is the vessel inside you. For those of you that are mothers that will grow a human baby, you can create life from almost nothing. Now, all women are capable of this. Women who are mothers or not, we have the power of life force within us. We are able to create things from almost nothing. Creativity, that creative power, that creative flow is feminine. So I want you to imagine your body as a beautiful vessel. Now, I should have grabbed it. You guys, I've got to show you this vase. I'm kind of stuck here on my couch, but what I do have is my giant coffee mug. So this is going to be our vessel for this talk. And yes, I do appreciate my strong coffee, as you can see. Okay, so imagine your body as a vessel, and hopefully you have a vessel that's a little more imaginative than my coffee mug here. I have a beautiful vase that graduates from pink to blue, and it's a little bit misshapen, and it's unpredictable, and it's wild, and it's untamed. Your body is that. Now, that means, number one, that your vessel has to be really solid. And number two, it means that you're finite. You can only hold so much, but you can't pour out without being replenished. And too many women, their vessels, their containers have holes in them or are misshapen to the point where they don't hold anything at all. Or their vessels are always pouring out so much that nothing new can enter because they're just dumping energy out. Think of yourself as a finite vessel. You have a finite amount of energy. We're going to call that 100%. Not 115%, not 125%, 100%. Now, in your life, you need to determine where you want to place some percentages of your energy. You might decide if you really get down to brass tacks here, that something that has been draining 25% of your energy on the regular really only deserves about 2%, maybe sometimes. You might realize that there is something you'd really like to give 50% of your energy to, but it is draining you 85%. This is why boundaries are so important. Because if we have leakage, we have nothing more to give. And this is that state of perpetual burnout for the woman. This is the metaphorical, energetic description of why we are constantly burnt out. We've lost our boundaries. There are holes in our vessel. We're constantly pouring out in a way that never allows us to replenish. So even if we do receive something, if we're receiving without having any boundaries, we're leaking energy. And if we have too many boundaries, if we wall ourselves off from the world almost as a self-protection mechanism, then we have no connection and we're putting on heavy armor. So right now, as I say these metaphors, I offer you this image of the vessel of leaks, of boundaries of armor. Place one hand over your heart and one hand on your lower belly. And just focus on the breath for a moment. Feel that place in the lower belly, where your uterus would be, or your womb, that holy and sacred location of your vessel, the representation physically of an energetic vessel. Just pay attention to it. And notice even as you simply turn your attention to it, your body softens. Almost like a coming home to yourself. Your body softens when you know you're listening to you. This is the beginning of reconnecting to one of feminity's greatest powers, which is your intuition. Your intuition as a woman is going to be felt. It's going to be embodied. So the more that you're able to pay attention to and connect to your body, the more you'll be receptive to your intuition, which will always, always guide you in your best direction. So you're welcome to open your eyes, but if you're comfortable doing so, keep your hand on your heart and one on your lower belly for a moment, just to create a more visceral anchor connection to any sensations that your body might offer up. Because it's time to reopen this flow. It's time to get back into our receptivity or to open it for the first time in our lives if you've never felt it. This is your birthright. This is who you are. This isn't passive. Again, it's a magnetism. You have to hold your boundaries. You have to shape your vessel. You have to be clear about your energy. That all takes work and effort and energetic clarity. And when that energetic clarity happens, when your vessel is solid, when you know exactly what you're meant to receive, when you magnetize it to you, you are doing deep feminine work. And, and you are calling those around you into rising into their best version of themselves, whether they are other feminine women around you, feminine presences, whether they are your masculine counterparts, whoever is around you, when you hold yourself as a fully boundary, sovereign, satisfied woman, the whole world around you will react. So it's not selfish. It's actually incredibly empowering work for everyone. So imagine as you got your hand on your heart and your lower belly, as you're feeling the body, remember that receiving is a practice of worthiness. Receiving teaches your nervous system that it is safe and you are allowed to be supported. So rather than the armor or deflection, no, I don't want that. Rather than the playing small of diminishing your needs, rather than rejecting gratitude or support or appreciation, consider what it would be like to take it on with gratitude. Thank you. That feels really good. Imagine receiving with gratitude. Thank you. That feels really good. What would you receive? What would feel good? And again, the boundaries are where consent lies. So you don't have to take on anything that does not feel good. You don't have to take on anything that is not yours. You don't owe anyone anything unless you are energetically clear about, and that energetic clarity is where you become sovereign. So if this conversation hits home for you, then I want you to consider joining me for 4 weeks of deep practice in exactly this kind of work. Imagine what that will feel like. Having support, having community, having more tips, tools, tricks, having more insights into femininity, having other women to talk about, having me supporting you, and having that high level of accountability to your sovereignty and your satisfaction. We start next week on October 29th. It's a 4-week program. We've got weekly rituals along with live calls and an embedded community for us to explore the work of my book, The Way of the Satisfied Woman, as well as the accompanying course. And it's a guided experience for women who are ready to refill their feminine vessel and receive from life again. So for those of you live with me, I've put the link right there in the chat. And I'd love to know if you have any questions about this work that we've done today. This simple act of receiving, opening yourself up, recognizing the power of boundaries, how they actually create safety for you. And I'd love to know, what's the hardest thing for you to receive right now? Is it help? Is it love? Is it rest? Is it money? What's been the hardest thing for you to receive? I know that, most women even have a hard time receiving just a hello or a kindness, but you deserve all of that and more because receiving isn't lazy. It's actually feminine leadership. It's feminine leadership. I want the same for you. I want the same for your daughters. I want the same for our sisters. I want the same for all the women around us as well as all of the women coming up after us. So thank you so much for being here with me on our live broadcast today and helping me create this sacred space for all women to explore their femininity, their satisfaction, their sovereignty, because you deserve to be absolutely satisfied, sister. You deserve to be full of the life energy that is yours, and you deserve to receive all that you possibly can in this life. So until next time, I hope to see you around. Come find me at thesatisfiedwoman.com, and we'll look forward to connecting with you there.